Good afternoon to you. Welcome to another notable time on a noble station. It's time for the program, The Faculty. Now, every other weekday on this program, we have wonderful conversations. Conversations that indeed shows the intellect of certain individuals. Conversation indeed that shapes the ideology, the philosophy, the perspective, the perceptions of Nigerians and even all around the world. It's time again for the program, The Faculty. Now, our conversation today is about the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the best country in the world, if you ask me, the most powerful country in the world, after all. It's the most populous black nation of the world. It's called Nigeria, the giant of Africa, and everything that concerns this country indeed concerns us right here. Today, our conversation is on electoral reforms. E-transmission precisely, how it has been done in this part of the world. Well, with me this wonderful day we have two notable gentlemen right here to do conversation with me. One of them, I would like to say Guten Abend to him.
Dankeschön, Dankeschön.
I'm not going to continue. He's Honorable Kenneth Bandy. He is a very notable personality and he's part of the political process. I'm sure the one party that has not moved to the APC yet. And he's right here seated, ready to have a conversation with me about e-transmission of result, if it's a fact or a myth. Honorable Kenneth Bandy, it's good to have you right here.
Thank you for being on your program.
It's good to have you right here. And also, another gentleman I have right here, it's my first time seeing him, so I'm going to be real as possible. Rather than begin to call his name, I will let him do an introduction himself, because I'm getting to meet him for my first time, ever. So, sir, good to meet you. My name is Francis Ofulue. And you?
My name is Jolson Wilson Ebo. I'm the Public Relations Officer, Office of the Chief Advisor to the Governor of Delta State. Great. I'm also a public analyst. So it's nice being here.
All right.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So you can tell that these panelists we have here, the panel, are actually strong men to have a conversation with us about the electoral process in Nigeria, e-transmission, the facts, and the myth. I don't know how feasible it's going to work. But it looks like some reporters believe that this might not work. The Senate has its own opinion about whether it would work or not. But I'm just going to start with Honorable Kenneth Bandy and ask really, is e-transmission the way forward for Nigeria? Let me know your thought first.
Well, thank you very much once again for having me on the program.
You're welcome.
Excuse me. Following the 2023 election, we had from various reports, people were really disenfranchised. A lot of people basically did the unthinkable, taking their own life because they were so frustrated. A lot of people believe that their vote no longer counts. And with this bruised national ego on election transparency and integrity, the nation has been struggling to recreate the narrative that votes count, that our voices count. And one of the issues or instrument or mechanism that has been proposed is the electronic transmission of results. And as a matter of fact, it's not only electronic transmission of result, but the real-time transmission of results. This is not rocket science. This is not more than snap, upload, and close. So anybody telling you or telling us that Nigeria is not ready for e-transition is ignorant of technology.
Okay, ignorant of technology. All right, let's go to the next panelist right here with us, Comrade Jolson Wilson Ebo. Well, it's good to have you once again. Now, with the Senate's recent amendment making the whole electronic transmission discretional for INEC rather than compulsory or mandatory, so to speak, do you think it's the way forward and it's a smarter decision for them to make at this point in time? They are concerned about those nooks and crannies of the country that might not have proper network system. Let me hear your thought.
Oh, I believe, first of all, it's a great one that the people of this country have taken it upon themselves to be serious more concerning national issues. And the Senate calling for a session to look at it only shows that they are listening to the people. Now, the Senate making these this call for the transmission of electronic results, it's what I say is a good one, but people have not really looked at what the Senate is saying. They've not looked at it critically, because they are saying that in a case where network is not did not allow the upload at that time,
Yes.
that the manual should be taken because of time. Remember, there's an extent that if the result is not announced at a certain time, they will have to do the election again, and the Senate will have to pay for the cost of that election. So the Senate saying that the country cannot right now absorb everything, but in case we should take the manual, so that we will not have that lacuna to will do an election that has already, yes, because what the INEC boss is bringing in is about 873 billion.
Yes, almost $1 trillion
to conduct an election. So the election should carry on so that we don't go back to the court. So what the Senate is saying is that we are going to have the e-transmission of election results. Don't forget that the 2022 Amendment Act didn't state that the electronic transmission is mandatory. But now the Senate is saying that it is mandatory, that we are going to transmit electronic results, but where the network has some problem at that polling unit, we are going to use the manual, which is the EC8A. What is snapped in the polling unit and uploaded on the IRF, that is what we are still going to use. So if the polling units have their agents and the security operative, the presiding officer have done that snap and uploaded it, that is what they are still going to use. So if the agents are there, have your copy. Because now the Senate is saying that EC8A and the IRF, they are going to be used as evidence in the court of law, which the former Electoral Act did not approve of. So I think Nigerians need to look at what the Senate is really saying very well. I think they are on the right track. For me, I think they are on the right track.
All right, we've heard two divergent opinions. Clearly, I can already read the mind of Honorable Bandi. I can read where he's going to head to by the time I ask my next question. But let's go on a break. Not a break precisely. Check out this video, I think, in the Senate. We'll be back shortly.
Glitches from my school.
Initial rejection of electronic transmission results by the Senate. The protest featured notable names.
Anybody says, I went to this primary school, I went to this secondary school, I went to this university, people are supposed to know about that. And that process has to continue through party primaries and everything. And finally, the election must be transmitted .
Next election, all questions connected with the next election will be answered by the amendments to the Electoral Act 2022. But the social media already is awash with the fact that the Senate has rejected electronic transmission. That is not true. That is not true. Electronic transmission had always been in our act. And what we did was to return the electronic transmission, which had been in our act, and which was used in 2022. So please do not allow people to confuse you. If you are in doubt, we will make up our final votes and proceedings available to you if you apply and you are entitled, so that you will see. This Senate, under my watch, has not rejected electronic transmission of results. It's in my interest as a participant in the next election for such to be done. So please don't go with the crowd. Don't go with the crowd. We have retained what was in the previous provision. That's all we did. So if we rejected what was proposed by way of amendment and said, let's retain what was in the previous provision, the previous provision.
All right, you could hear the Senate President himself, Senator Godswill Akpabio, standing strongly as far as his own and the Senate's approval is concerned. Let's get to Honorable Kenneth Bandu. You heard Peter Obi, his thoughts, he's totally in support of the e-transmission. It should be 100%, nothing else, nothing short. But you know what? There are different thoughts. We already have a different school of thought right here in the studio, and it makes perfect sense. They're trying to just ensure that everything is appropriate, everything is normal, that, you know, they follow the ECHA, ensure that things are fair. When there are no networks in the place, they can, you know, find a better way rather than wasting time, because time is of essence. What are your thoughts?
I like his analysis, very, very eloquent analysis. And I'm happy that at the end of that analysis, he used the big word, but. When that electronic failed, then we should use the EC form. In the last election, the EC form were mutilated. Numbers were changed between the polling unit to the collation center. And that is where the problem lies. And so, the cry of all Nigerians is that make that form. Like I said, it's not a rocket science. If I have my iPhone now, I'll demonstrate that to you. Get the EC form that he mentioned, snap it, upload it. Nothing more than that. Nigeria is a country where I see that doing things the right way becomes a problem.
But they're saying that it doesn't network. You know,
well, again, like I said, anybody who is proposing that is ignorant of technology. Let me quote the former INEC president, INEC chairman. He said that, and I think, let's even come down to the reality. Let's forget about INEC chairman. Frank, if you go to your village and you snap a picture on WhatsApp, and you send it on WhatsApp, and you don't have a network in your village, the moment you come into a circle where there is network, that message drops. Correct?
True. 100% true.
That is exactly the same way it works. And I will go further than that. If you go into the advanced setting of the picture you took in the village, and you click on that picture, it will give you the time, the location, and the seconds with which that picture was taken and transmitted. And that is what we expect to do here. There is no rocket science. So anybody who is telling you network, now don't forget that a few days before the Senate president, he has already informed us in advance that 9 State Confederation has security issues. He has already informed us that there might be a glitch in national grid where there will not be electricity.
You were just mentioning concerns, basic thing, challenges that might come.
The right of a leader, of the Senate president or any other officer, is to alleviate the fears of the populace, that they are prepared to conduct a credible and free election.
At the expense of lying?
Not to prophesy a possible doom. Now, like I said, what we need is, whether there's a network in the village or not, that system is configured to snap the form, upload it, And the moment there's a network, whether in that village or in next available village, it uploads itself automatically, the timestamp is there. But let's even assume that all this will fail.
Yes.
We have 1 year to election. The concern of our Senate, the concern of our leaders should be, how do we bring in modern technology, encrypt softwares that can upload results, take care of the timestamp where it was uploaded, and make sure that it becomes an evidence in the law, like my very good friend said.
Yeah.
By the time we begin to say if and but, we have already programmed to rig the next election. And that's the problem.
Do you think that the Senate is trying to be self-serving? Comrade Jolson, because this has been the thought and the mindset of several quarters in the country. They say that they want to intentionally place a loophole that they can take advantage of. That's a blunt question coming from some quarters, the blunt thought coming from some quarters in the country as we speak. Do you think that can be the intention? And if no, why can't they marry the ideas of one of our panelists right here, Honorable Monday?
I think in making a plan, we're talking about Nigeria. We're not talking about, we're not even talking about Oshimili South local government. Neither are we talking about Okpanam Road. We're talking about a whole country of over 250 million people. And most of them are not as tech-driven as some are. The issue we're having here is that of trust. Is that of trust. So it's like when you're talking about when someone cheats on you before, even if the person is telling you the truth, you might not believe the person. That is what Nigerians, that's the position of Nigerians. They feel they were disenfranchised in the last election. And they want this one to be well spelt out.
Shouldn't it be well spelled out?
Yes, I agree with you. But let me remind you, by taking your own illustration, using SMS and WhatsApp, if you are doing this transfer of money, and sometimes you agree with me that if they make a transfer to you, you will call the person that transferred the money that have not received it, even after 2 days. True of us. You say, I have not received it. Meanwhile, the person have told you, I have transferred the money. Network can be funny. So when you are making a plan, you make out a little plan for contingency. In case it fails, you can't trust technology 100%. You can't trust technology 100%. So in case it fails, what should we do? That is where it now came to the part of, okay, we'll fall back to the EC8A, whom in reality, the agents of all the political parties have snapped. The presiding officer have uploaded, signed and uploaded.
Okay.
So it's in the IREV. So it's now telling you now, the Senate is telling you now that the EC8A is an evidence because of law.
Let me get into the conversation.
Yes.
Now, I remember 2003, there was this particular cliche about those who have, that's what they used to describe Peter Obi's party, not having, as a word, I don't know why it's evaded me, not having all the
agents.
Not all the, there's a word they used to call it, but it has skipped my mind. The point that they made reference to the fact that, he doesn't have people everywhere, so to speak. And so he might not be able to conduct the election in a way that is favorable to him. And now you mentioned something where you said that all the party agents would be there when it is snapped. I will tell you for free that I've also been part of INEC in conducting elections in the northern region. I'll tell you also for free that when that is done in such an environment, you will be conscious about the leading party there, conscious about the machineries in place, those around. So you might want to tilt towards the ones that have more guns, more sophistication, rather than, so when they all gather, they can agree on something to favor who has the bigger gun around there. Do you think this idea would work, where all the party agents would sit down? Do you think it's clear enough?
I think that it's colliding in itself, because the people that came to that polling unit to vote, all of them are not from the ruling party or the party that is Nigerians are thinking is trying to rig the election.
Let me break this down very well. With a defunct party, the CPC, because I was conducting that 2011 election in Kebbi State, and the CPC, they were leading. I was seeing the results. Yet there were tiny segments, fractions for the PDP. Those little results, the CPC would not want to see anything PDP around their ward. It was not about winning the election by 100 to 10. It was winning the election by 109, 110 to 0. That's what they wanted. So they would not allow you to do anything that would, affect them in one single way. Are you saying that somehow those little numbers do not matter in such places where majority of them might be for, so to speak, now CPC is defunct, the CPC?
You were saying something different from the e-transmission. Now, in that case, like I was saying initially, that the people that came to vote in that polling unit, we also have other political party present.
I'm telling you, those political parties are not going to, they are going to be silent.
I think the issue is right in a way. The issue is actually, we're not even debating about whether the numbers signed by the agents are
true or
false. That's not even what we're debating. What we're debating that when that form has been signed, one way or the other, upload it.
That's it.
So what the argument is making, which I totally respectfully disagree, is that when they now get to the collation center, and the returning officer, at his discretion, at her discretion, said because the uploading failed, we are using this e-form as an evidence of collation. And once that is accepted, and you come in 3 days later or 2 days later to bring in a contrary result, the Supreme Court is saying they cannot use that as an evidence because it is not enshrined in the law. And so they are saying they have already expressed concern that they have to make it mandatory so that it will become something you can tender in the court as an evidence. But what they are doing, what they have done is trying to be respectfully clever with 1.5 by saying we will take that, but
we could take this.
When it fails, then what we need to do, what we need to do or clamor for, which a lot of Nigerians are speaking, if you bring the e-form, still bring the one that was uploaded. Yeah. Let us compare them. Contrast. And they should be both. That's why we said it should be made mandatory. So whether it's there or not, they can do the comparison, and that one will also remain legal.
Is that not fair
enough? I'm saying what he's saying. What e-form are they bringing again? Because if the presiding officer comes to the collation center, what is he coming with? Is the EC8A form that he snaps. That's what he's going to bring to the collation center. And when he brings it in, and because what the Senate President said, if you listen to him, he said, or you didn't pay attention closely, he said, maybe when the presiding officer is coming on his way, it would have dropped if there was no network at that location of that polling unit. He said, maybe if he leaves the place on his way, network would have come on the way, and the information, the document would have dropped on the IRF. So that is what the Senate President is saying. And that's what the Senate,
let's go on a break now. We're going to check out Reno Mokri. I think he marries some of these thoughts that we've shared here. Whether the fact that the electronic transmission is not something done in any part of the world, including the United States of America, especially the United States of America. That's what he said. Let's check out this video.
Dear citizens of Nigeria, I want you to fact check what I'm about to say. Peter Obi's own bank last year had tens of thousands of complaints of customers not having real-time access to the bank's app, of customers sending money and the money not getting to the destination bank in real time, and reversals to their bank accounts not happening in real time. Bank customers not being able to access the bank's app in real time, not able to access SSD services in real time. This happened with that bank last year. And this same Peter Obi yesterday went to the National Assembly to protest for real-time transmission of election results by INEC. Now, if your own bank that boasts of having some of the best internet facilities, not just in Nigeria but in Africa, cannot guarantee real-time money transfers to 10 million customers, how do you want INEC to guarantee real-time election transmissions to 100 million registered voters in Nigeria? You think about it. Now, why are they doing this? I'm going to cast your mind back to 2023. How many attempts were there to hack INEC servers? Not 1 million, not 2 million, 12 million. That's why they're doing this. Nigeria does not have 100% coverage. We have something like maybe 90, 92, 92. We don't have 100% coverage. But even if we did, it is not practicable. I saw some people, they did a petition to the United States, to President Trump, asking him to intervene. Even in the United States, and I want you to fact check me, the United States does not have real-time transmission of election results. So they're asking President Trump to pressure Nigeria to do what America cannot do. You think about it. You see, we are often very emotional. Let's sit down and ask ourselves practical questions. If a bank that has the best internet facilities in the whole of Africa, so they claim, cannot deliver real-time money transfer to 10 million customers, how can we expect INEC to do the same for 100 million registered voters? My name is Renan Mokri. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you.
Okay. All right. Powerful thoughts from Renan Mokri there, and he says, fact check me. See if I'm wrong or right. And some things you mentioned, they sounded right. The fact that there are cyber attacks on INEC so far, over 12 billion, that's what he noted. He said, go fact check him. So I'm going to get back to you, Honorable Kenneth Banti, because you seem so optimistic about the idea of electronic transmission only. Whatever thing should come can be supported, but that should be the mandatory thing for INEC. Do you think that he's making a lot of sense there? Noting also, he said in an interview too, that the United States that we look at, they don't do exactly transmission in real time. They slow down before they.
Well, I'm one of those people who believe that you don't attack a messenger, but you listen to the message.
Yes.
But Mike Okri is one of the least person I would actually like to take a consult from, because his credibility and integrity has actually been upside down. So let's not even go into that. What baffles me most is that Nigerians are always, not all Nigerians, some Nigerians are always fond of comparing bad examples with America or Europe when it favors them. And then they will not make a comparison of the standard of living and the rest of them. India, with over 900 million people, conducted an electronic transmission of results. 900 million against 20 million that voted in Nigeria. And so when somebody is telling you, why would I agree that nothing can be 100% perfect in the world? The question is the intention to make things better. What Nigerians are clamoring, like I said at the beginning, and Nigeria is one of the only countries where I see people having issue to do what is right. Yeah. What we are saying is, make this thing mandatory, remove the loopholes, so that, my co-panelist is making reference to, nobody is arguing, and including you, the moderator, we are not arguing that the manual form should be discarded. Yeah. We are saying that the priority should be electronic transfer. And when they have an issue, they can use the manual as a backup, not the other way around. But by the time you begin to tell Nigerians, again, look at where we're coming from, 2023, that election, we are all in this country, for goodness sake, where we see party ABC 100, and that 100 is turned to 0, and the opposition party or the other party is giving a different. And we're saying to make sure this is eliminated. Once you upload results, even before the official collation, everybody will see what is on the platform. And so it's basically helping the collation officer, the general collation officer, to just match the figures and said yes, figure A and the figure in the transmission are one and the same. And everybody said yeah, and then we move on from there. I don't see, again, I will reiterate the fact that this is not rocket science. Anybody who is trying to make this look like a rocket science is being very dishonest.
Was Reno Walker being very dishonest on that video? When you talked about the bank and how things are, you mentioned that was a perspective earlier on, that things are delayed. But there was a point he mentioned, and I think it's as simple as WhatsApp. I don't like to go way deep into this matter because, like your coupon earlier said, if you send a WhatsApp message, when network appears on your phone, it's going to show the time and it's going to be very clear. You can't even change orchestrate. No matter how much you try to hack, you can't change whatever was written earlier, except you're going to hack the entire system and perhaps just change it to your own system. You know, that's a longer process, and people can see the polls there. That is not the original site this is coming from. Do you think that Reno Walker was being honest to what he was saying, or is indeed the EC in a form the best way forward?
You see something about our country. Our country, like they like coming out when someone bring up a topic. They will not investigate on their own to know what are the details of this document. The argument I'm seeing both online and personally is that the people that are even arguing it, they've not even read about this topic on their own. They are taking the words from someone's mouth and arguing. Go out on the street, ask people what is really happening. They cannot give you a detailed conversation.
That's what I hear. That's what
Now, what I'm saying is, the time that Nigeria had a problem last time, when we wanted to go into cashless economy, we had everybody, we're not ready! We're not ready for cashless. Nigeria, how can Nigeria go into cashless? How can the old woman in the village, how can she do business? How can the one... So the country listened and pulled back from that. Now it has come to election. Some part of the country are now shouting, we are ready for electronic, we can do it. Why are we having double standard to judge if we are not ready for cashless economy? Because we believe that we are not yet in that electronic age. Why do we think that we are fully ready for e-transmission of election results? Are you not sure you are going to disenfranchise some people? Are you not sure? Because I'm coming there. Because now we are talking about, he mentioned that some part of the country are having some security issues.
Although quoting the Senate President.
Because that's what is happening in the country right now. So we have some people not having network. Yeah. Because don't forget, where there are security challenge, there might not be network there. So when these people are having to vote and you say it must be electronic and the thing does not get to the portal, what will happen?
But there are mobile satellites now, you're aware of that?
I'm coming. The Senate President also mentioned that we are not saying that we are going all manual.
Oh, no, but Joseph, you know the guy
we are
called
not
high
saying,
speed?
No.
He moved around several
we are not
parts
saying,
of the continent.
No, we are not saying.
Where there were no networks in those areas. And with just his backpack, he could have access to network. That's just an influencer, as global as he is. Are you saying that INEC with close to $1 trillion budget cannot have such packs in villages without network? Is that what you're saying?
No,
basically?
I'm telling you that. No, I'm telling you that INEC can do that.
So why can't they?
But I'm telling you that in every plan, you must have room for contingency.
Should there be room for contingency? You've mentioned.
Yes.
I'm going to be with you now.
Yes.
I'm later going to attack your co-pilot.
Yes.
But now this attack is on you, and I'm very sorry about that.
I want it. Tell me.
You mentioned you likened it to the legal tender, which you use on a daily basis.
Yes.
And you're comparing it to something you are going to use for just a day or a week. Now, note that Reno Walker mentioned the United States of America, which clearly would have polls released, and later after a week, they will show verification. Can't we wait for a week rather than wait for the court for months, spanning 2 years? Do you think that...
But that is not the argument.
No, but that's the argument. They're saying, we want electronic transmission. Do it and then bring your EC 8A form and let's see.
Then let's be having a discussion where we are going to have election that will span a week. Then we can have that conversation. But when you are telling us that we have an election that is for 24 hours or 48 hours...
The question now is, how many weeks does the Nigerian election last? Because basically, we have seen all the elections. It lasts for years. I'll explain. Because if you
We're talking
select
about
the
the
governor,
voting.
if you select the governor now, if you select, if we choose as a people, after we're done selecting that governor, we've voted for him. About a couple of months after, we still go to court to ensure that we are done with that election. So are you sure that elections even span a day or it doesn't take us months?
No, we're talking about the voting, the actual
I'm talking about
voting.
if we can wait, can't we wait? Since we can wait for the court, can't we wait for electronic transmission?
That is what you should discuss then. That should be the conversation Nigerians should bring to the floor of the House.
So I'm asking you now, can we wait for it?
We can wait. Yes, of course, we can wait. American elections, they don't vote in a day.
So I think you're marrying what he said.
No, I'm not marrying what he's saying. He is saying that we should go all out electronic transmission.
Yes.
As a priority. And the other one as a backup.
And remember what the Senate said,
Yes.
that there is a time frame for results to be released.
All right. Thank you. Honorable Kenneth Bank, time is money.
Yeah.
But you are saying that somehow the Nigerian government and the INEC precisely should wait. You know, so it should do e-transmission. If it doesn't work in an area, then somehow maybe we should redo it.
No,
and we have to go through the hurdles of doing all over.
No. I will give him a little bit.
No, give me now.
Okay, I will give you
Yes.
a little bit of credit what he was trying to say about about the timing. But we seem to not the timing when he said that a lot of people are misunderstanding this concept, which is very, very correct.
Yeah.
Because most people are thinking that what we are talking about is go to vote,
Yeah.
and once you press your finger and you're voting, the results transmit automatically
Yeah,
to the
that's
center.
what I'm
Most people misunderstood.
Yeah.
That's not correct.
Yes.
So that I agree with him on that. But what we are saying simply, the argument we are making, or the argument is making, actually contradict when he mentioned about we're not ready for cashless society, and now we are enjoying that, or some people are enjoying that. The same way we're saying we are ready for electronic transfer of result. We're not talking about voting. We're talking about the transfer of the result. And now you're talking about, even if you want to, let's take Delta State for instance. In the coalition center for even the presidential, it happens in the central, not in Abuja. It's when the central, when the Delta has collated their own, you take the next available flight from Asaba to Abuja to go and tender your result. So don't tell me that somebody in Patani, or somebody in Abo, or somebody in Akukwibo will not, within 24 hours, will travel from Akukwibo to the Delta State capital and they take the next arrival flight to Abuja. So when we're talking about the time and it's just unbelievable that they're trying to, find what they are doing.
What he said is that bring them together. The EC8A4.
We are not doubting
Bring
that.
it together.
We're not
together.
doubting that. The problem, the argument is,
Yes.
one is putting one against the other one as a priority, which we are saying it's wrong.
No.
They are saying no.
The
What they are saying
is
no.
mandatory
What they
now.
are saying yes.
Yes,
No, no,
but
no,
when
no,
it
I
fails,
think
it's
it is
mandatory
then
now.
discretional.
Then after
Because
that,
the
exactly.
Constitution 165 of the Constitution says that INEC has
The
that
discretion.
No.
No,
That's why I said
that's the
Nigerians.
Constitution.
That's why I said Nigerians don't read these things.
My co-panelist.
What is happening right now? That the both houses want to harmonize.
No.
That's what's going on.
What the law, what the
Who
bill
has the
says.
finance? INEC has a right
What
to
the bill
decide.
says, and you quoted it at the beginning. In a situation where the collection officer cannot transmit electronically, the other one becomes
At whose discretion?
at whose discretion?
This was specific.
At whose discretion? No,
You're,
that's the question.
not whose discretion. This, if you have read it, it's specific. He said there will be e-transmission of election results.
And when it fails,
And when it fails, the Form EC8A
becomes
usable.
the one that they have mutilated. change the
No,
number.
not the one that they mutilated.
Which one?
Now, that's why I said Nigerians don't read. Wait, I'm coming.
Can the form be mutilated?
How can it be mutilated when it has been snapped? When it has been snapped.
No, but that's the problem.
It has been snapped.
No, that's the problem.
And it has been signed.
That's the problem.
And we're not.
Sorry, hold on. Something
Yes.
snapped and signed. How can you mutilate what has been snapped and signed?
Exactly.
And signed.
Exactly.
And somebody can tender it as evidence. Now, it's no longer, there's no room for it.
Go ahead. We have little time left.
Yes. You see,
We're
the question
done.
is that when you give the discretion at the letter officer to decide which form he's going to use, even if you like, you snap 20 and bring it here. The one that is tendering,
No.
that is what is happening.
No, this
is
Okay,
not.
wait.
This is
It's all right. It's all right.
No.
Let's hear both of your final submission in 30 seconds. I'll let you, comrade, do your final a final submission.
No,
Just a 30 seconds.
yes, thank you so much. I believe that Nigerians should come out to vote. The problem is not in actually the how can someone rig an election is when those that are accredited did not vote, or the problems take hold at the collation center when they have loopholes. Nigerians should come out and vote. They should be at their polling unit. They should snap the form. Yes. Now they've given the Senate has given made it mandatory that form EC8A can be tendered as an evidence in the court of law. So if you, as a voter, you could snap it when the presiding officer have done that, you snap it and hold it as evidence, because your phone will have the details of when that snapshot was made.
All right.
So you can tender it.
All right, thank you. Final submission.
Nigerians in millions came out to the street, on social media, on all the network space, and said, based on our last experience in 2023, we need real-time translation of results. The Senate are at the pleasure of Nigerian people, who are the power that elected them. They should listen to the people and do what the people want, not what they want. So we need a real-time translation of results.
What do we need in Nigeria? Very big question, really. As far as elections are concerned, we just need to be transparent and fair. And that's the confusion, that's the argument, that's the little almost chaos in the studio. Both gentlemen wanted to work in the country. One thing they have submitted is you have to read. You have to be aware of what's going on. You have to be aware during the voting process. You have to be sure that your vote counts. And this means that the INEC chairman, Joash Anukwita, who is a senior leader of Nigeria, has a lot of jobs to do. He has to ensure that Nigerians trust the process, because money means nothing as compared to the currency of public trust. If you cannot get the public to trust everything he's doing, then indeed everyone would say that election was a fraud. We don't want to have that situation again in this country like we had way back when Nigerians had to fall out of trust with the electioneering process. It ends now, and actions should be taken. So if the people are crying for something, you might want to understand them and let them understand you very clearly. This is the Senate. And the people understand your Senate and understand what's going on. There's no how to settle this argument than to ask you to do the judgment yourself, our viewer. But thank you so much. We have spoken with Comrade Joseph Wilson Ebo. He is Public Relations Officer of the Chief Advisor to the Governor, right here in Delta State. Brilliant man.
Thank you.
Enjoyed myself, got educated. And also to a man who is CEO, African German Information Center, Agric, CEO of Heritage Media Network, TV Radio Magazine, Deputy National Chairman, Diaspora Engagement of the African Democratic Process, ADC in Nigeria, Honorable Kenneth Bandi. Avudeze to you.
Dankeschön.
Dankeschön. I speak a little German. Every to you, it is good afternoon, and be a wonderful Nigerian. Abreast about the things going on in your country. Stay here. Delta Television remains the people's pride, a place where you can get info that is accurate and good for your medulla oblongata. My name is Francis Ofulue. Good afternoon and goodbye.